You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Welcome to this episode of the Disease Du Jour podcast on Equitarian Opportunities with Dr. Julia Wilson. I'm your host, Kim Brown, editor of Equimanagement. The Disease Du Jour podcast is brought to you in 2023 by Merck Animal Health. Julia Wilson, DVM, DACVIM, is the executive director of the Minnesota Board of Veterinary Medicine. A graduate of Cornell University, Dr. Wilson has served the majority of her career as a university faculty member. She first served at the University of Florida, then was on staff at the University of Minnesota. Dr. Wilson is active in the World Equine Veterinary Association and co-founded the group known as the Equitarian Initiative and has served as the past president and remains on the board of directors. She also serves on the board of Brook USA Foundation. Thank you, Dr. Wilson, for joining us today on Disease Du Jour to talk about equitarian opportunities.
My pleasure.
Well, let's just jump right in. What is an equitarian?
Well, an equitarian is a word invented by the other co-founder of Equitarian Initiative, a wonderful veterinarian named Dr. J. Merriam, actually from the Merriam Dictionary family. So an equitarian is one who serves equids with compassion and whose only reward is their improved health and welfare.
Tell us a little bit about how you have served at-need horses and their caretakers.
Well, that's a story that goes back a ways, but to stay on task with Equitarian Initiative, we began as a coffee conversation way back in 2008 at the annual meeting of the American Association of Equine Practitioners. And there was enough interest in this core group having coffee that we persuaded the powers that be to let us have a session in the program. At that point, I was not that involved with working equids per se, but was just finishing up 2 terms on the board of directors of Heifer International. And so very much in the mindset of international development, teaching people to look after their animals. So that was 2009. And from that, the first equitarian workshop was born in Mexico as the guests of Dr. Mariano Hernandez Gil, who had an elective for his veterinary students that met our needs. And we became the veterinary students at that point. And I found myself organizing the whole stateside part of it. And that led to really, really great core group, many of whom have gone on to start their own projects. We remained a group within AAEP for that year and the next. And then they said, I think you all should be your own independent organization. So we became our own group in 2012 and actually 501c3 in 2013. And we've carried on from there. And we have just the absolute super group of very enthusiastic veterinarians and supporters that really believe in this mission and dedicate countless hours and energy to making it all happen.
Well, who can participate in equitarian opportunities?
Even though we're vet-centric, if you will, anybody really can if they have skills that will further the mission. So we have had a variety of people come on the various programs, not just a workshop, but programs within countries. Veterinary technicians are always appreciated. Animal scientists have been able to not only contribute their horse skills, their research skills, but also very much further our knowledge in terms of areas where we don't have training as veterinarians. So they've been critical. We've had people that have very good horse skills come and play roles that aren't exactly being veterinarians, but supporting roles, like helping with the records, helping with the stocking. Anybody can come help virtually, if you will, by giving us their services in fundraising in particular. That would be great. Talking about it to others and getting them interested in our work would be terrific as well.
Today's Disease Du Jour podcast is brought to you by Merck Animal Health's Protozil 1.56% diclazerol antiprotozoal pellets. Effectively treating EPM doesn't have to be difficult. Reach for Protozil, easy to administer top-dressed alfalfa pellets, a safe and effective treatment that starts working fast without a loading dose. Learn more at merckanimalhealthusa.com. Do not use Protozil in horses with known hypersensitivity to diclazerol. Safety has not been studied in breeding, pregnant, or lactating horses. For complete safety information, please read label. When you say that people can get involved with fundraising, I mean, great. It's a 501c3. That's always a great step in the right direction. But what do you need for these trips?
Well, we now have programs in United States, Mexico, Central America, 3-4 countries, 2 programs in South America, and we just started supporting a program in Nepal. So most of the programs have a budget around $10,000, and that does not include the veterinarian's time nor their travel expenses. So there are a lot of fundraising needs. That's not our forte, shall I say. So help from others is greatly appreciated. We've been strongly supported by the Foundation for the Horse, with the American Association of Equine Practitioners, but that doesn't cover all the programs. So we certainly want to grow our donor base.
If somebody was interested in trying to do something, whether it's fundraising, going on a trip, donating product or services or something to a trip, what might that look like, Dr. Wilson?
We now have a structured program for volunteering for the projects. So there's an online curriculum and application process that persons that want to volunteer will complete. It's new this past year, and it cues you up into being in line for a trip that suits your talents, suits your schedule, and seems to be a good fit for your particular skills. That's the most direct way. In terms of fundraising, there's so many things one can do. A lot of the veterinarians that have participated in the projects go on to help fundraise either with a memorial program where they give a gift to Equitarian Initiative to honor an animal that's passed, or by helping distribute fundraising materials to their clients. That's been really special. And then there's this incredible group, predominantly women, that have found a place in their hearts for this work. And they become incredible donors and help organize fundraisers. So there's so many things that are great about supporting this cause.
So you also had mentioned donations in kind. How does that work, Dr. Wilson?
That's a great question. Donations in kind have sometimes been halters, lead ropes, grooming things, but it can also be pharmaceutical products and vaccines. So as much as possible, we try to bring what we can from the U.S., particularly if there's a medication that's critical to our work that's really hard to get in the country where we're working. So that's very, very important to us.
Tell me a fun memory that you have. I know this is hard work. You're working with a lot of animals, other languages, third world situations where you're staying. But tell me something that's just a bright point.
For me, it's been teaching. My project has been pretty much in Honduras with some visits to other countries. Veterinary students in Honduras are so eager to learn. They are delightful to see their skills develop, their confidence grow. For me, that's priceless.
That's great. And if you have an interest in trying to work on one of these projects, whether you're a vet or a tech, or you have some kind of specific skills, maybe in nutrition or something else that you want to look at, you can go to equitarianinitiative.org. And we will have an article on equimanagement.com that talks a little bit about the podcast and have a player right there. And we'll also make sure and put a link right in there so you can click right onto the website and learn more. So is there anything else that you want to talk about on this, Dr. Wilson?
You know me, I could talk for a long time, but I wanted to point out that we have a very active Facebook site as well. And recently, Equitarian Initiative has been putting on Equitarian-themed presentations very casually as a coffee club sort of presentation. So those are announced on Facebook. So if persons are interested in learning a little bit more about specific aspects of Equitarian work, that's a great place to start.
Okay, well, we will make sure and put a link to your Facebook page on there also. So that's great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Wilson, for joining us on this episode of Disease Du Jour. And a big thanks to our audience for listening. And a special thanks to our 2023 sponsor, Merck Animal Health, who gives us the opportunity to have these discussions. And if you have any questions or suggestions, send an email to me at kbrown, that's the letter K Brown, @equinenetwork.com.